have it. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna put some more heat shielding in here for sure. But lining up and getting that hole figured out where it needs to go for the exhaust was critical. I've taken this down. You're like, why didn't you take that off? Oh, dude, I tried. So these bolts were about to break. And I said, nope, it's not worth it. I can squeeze this in. I've got ways to do it. It's okay. But I agree with you. I want to take that off along with the carburetor. And I was like, no, not going to happen. Okay, so now what do we have? We need to see where the heat's really going to build up. Clearly back here, yeah. Back here we have this. This is acting as a fan. A muffin fan. We love a muffin. Don't ask. So that should create some airflow here, but we don't have air flowing. That is, this will be the rear end. I mean, that would be wise. Let's not blow exhaust in our face. And this will be facing front. So it would be a very good idea to design some kind of air intake system here, right? So that it's feeding the air, it can exhaust the hot air, it can bring in cool air, it can have that forced in. And even if it's just sort of leaking out of this, I don't care. It needs to exhaust it. And but we need holes. So that would be one of the last things I do, because if you screw that up, you're out of bag right there, and I don't know where to find these. So I'm being really careful with how I do this so I don't F this up. Interesting to note though, when you drill a hole through this stuff, as I can see here, yeah, it's just a large chunk of plastic in these things, really. It's just acrylic plastic covered by some kind of fake real leather. Honestly, if I can't tell, I guess it doesn't matter, but this is real. But on this side that I drilled through, I don't know. And then you've got this metal bar that's going around, and I've clearly bent the shit out of it, just doing all of this. But it will bend back. It'll be fine, because we're gonna have holes here. Poke this out. Put the carburetor, literally, well, not the carburetor. Carburetor will stay inside, but the air intake box. There's one that there it is. So we'll put that right here. And actually, that'll be kind of nice because you can clean and change your air filter just right there. So that should be a piece of cake. And then you got your exhaust. So as long as we don't catch on fire and melt plastic, although you'll smell that real fast as a warning, plastic is awful when you're melting that stuff. Our other problems are this needs to freely spin without any friction. And right now it's hitting that side a bit. So got to work on that. I'm not worried about this side because the way it's got the wires coming out and all this stuff. Yeah, look at that. I got plenty of room, but I gotta make sure that I got plenty of room on this side too. You might notice I have a cork in my oil thing. Yeah, well, that's the next step. I've gotta find that now that I've lined it up with the exhaust hole, make a hole for that, and then you go, but Russ, how you get a fucking corkscrew? Of course I use a corkscrew. But then I'll put this back in, and when you screw the thing back in, right, I'll be screwing it in from the outside, and it will ultimately hold this into the bag. Maybe without any further supports, with the combination of this and these two bolts, and I'm also going to cap this off, right? Do I really need to mount it to the base? I want it to vibrate. I want it to move. I want it to do its thing without ever receiving friction from that. So that's the key. So if I'm mounting it to this outside wall largely in this back one, then I should be achieving that objective of keeping it a little bit away from that side. Plus I'll carve that out. I got some more of this stuff, and I am gonna cover it, yeah, fully over here. This is thinner, so I'm also gonna probably remove this over here and use the thinner stuff. Maybe not worry about this because I need to build, like I said, some kind of airflow system there. So those are the next steps. I'm gonna drill another, what is it, 7/8 inch? Yeah. Hole probably for this guy. But really I gotta get that whole part through. No, that's way bigger than, no, that's gotta be bigger than that. That's a solid inch. I haven't even measured that yet, obviously. But based on just knowing what a cork looks like, in width, yeah, we're gonna need to drill a bigger hole because I want that lip right there to pop through. Right there, to pop through, and that'll really secure this nicely when you get all this together. So far, I'm still happy with this. It keeps sort of getting better. It's nice to be able to take your time. I'm injured right now. I broke my clavicle and stuff, and this is the kind of stuff I can get away with doing. Don't tell my doctor. I want to put an electric starter in, and let me show you my problem now that this is in here. here's my electric starter. And no, I can't find one really any smaller, unfortunately. I can find slightly different ones, but they all have one thing in common. A big, powerful electric motor, like a big connection, 12 volt, whatever. I mean, you'd think I would know. I'll worry about that later. And then, and basically, this is made for very sprinty power. Just whoosh, 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 freaking start the engine. However, it's obnoxious in size. God damn it. Right? So, I've been struggling with this one. Where do you put it? So, ultimately, yeah, I need like maybe a chain to go from here to a gear I'm going to have to make or something that goes into that center shaft. I want to leave the fan blades here and everything. So this then maybe need to do something like this. Wait, which like how much room do I have? That's what I wanted to see when I put this in this time. I mean, pretty significant on the back end. You really do. You really do. You've got to see, but I don't really have it on the top. I certainly don't have it on the width. So, God, what do? Stick it out of the back where the air is supposed to come in, like, no, there's not a generator in that bag. I don't want to do that. You see all that space down there, though? That's interesting. But then you'd have like the motor like this. So this is very interesting because it does appear to be about 6 inches. Well, I think it's more than 6, but it doesn't mean I couldn't make it work. Hold on. Let's check this out here for a second. I mean, yeah. So we're just there within 6. So technically, that could fit down there in that corner. But you'll see that that's going to spin that way, and then that's going to spin that way. I'm going to need like a differential essentially. And this is a dickload of torque. So anything that I just, make in my damn garage is definitely going to break. I'm no great welder. Check out my other videos. They're terrible. It is a lot of fun to try, though. So this is a very interesting problem. Now, this is a prototype. This is completely a prototype. So this is kind of expected. If I did have to, hang it out of the back, or my original thought literally was do this, cut a huge hole back here, which will give you air too, but then just when you want to start it, you just shove that in there and you go, let's go, right? Would that work? Fuck yeah, that would work. It would work actually beautifully. I've thought about how many old drills do I have? Can I build an old drill like into this thing? And then it'd be sweet. You just put a little Ryobi battery on and there's your starter battery. But it's ridiculous because we already have a battery powered goddamn motorcycle. If I don't use that battery, I should be ashamed of myself, right? So that's my goal. And yeah, now that I see it in there and now that the exhaust is in, man, there's some room down there, but it is not much. It's not like I could 3D design this in SolidWorks and be like, hey, let's send it to the CNC, Bill. There's no bill. There never is a bill, but that's always what I say. I'm not saying that wouldn't happen long run, but I'm really wanting to just prove the concept, right? So there is an amount of time and money that you need to, be conscious of. That's all. All right, so let me figure out this hole. I think I'm safe to do that. Everything else is going to be its own little gambit, but we're all the way pushed to the bottom here, right? We've got our butthole out and exhaust. And now we're going to make the oil hole. So we got the butthole, we got the oil hole, and then we make carb holes. Very nicely. Hey, take a look at this build. So I found some thinner stuff to line the inside of this saddlebag with. I really like it. It sticks well. I've cut a hole now for the exhaust. I've also cut a hole for the oil. So now this little guy's going to squeeze right in there. I'm going to use a corkscrew, get that out. Probably have to drain the oil because I'm going to get cork in there like a dumbass. As a matter of fact, I already know that's going to happen. So I should have just drained the oil in the first place. Moron. We all do that, right? We're like, I don't know. Sounds like a good idea at the time, and then you don't really think it through. That was one of those. But anyways, that's fine. It'll work. Everything's going to fit in here, and then these two big bolts that I can't seem to safely get out of here, because these, I don't care which direction you went. They were going to break. No. So it'll squeeze right in there, and then these two bolts will be roughly coming out right here. The carburetor should fit inside along with the engine, and the air box right there will go on the outside. So that's going to get very interesting. So those are our next steps. On this end, I freed up enough space. Do you see this? Before, let me show you. This was hitting the side. We don't want this to hit anything. We don't want it to create any friction and make its job any harder. No. So I thinned that up a lot, and that's actually all I need right there. Plus, I don't really need heat protection here. This is where the air is going to be coming in. It's a fan, essentially. This is where all the heat is, and we need this heat to escape. I want air to come in here, and I want heat to escape here. Well, which way does heat likes to go up? So I don't know how bad it's going to be yet. I can tell you this. This hole, that's plastic in the middle, man. So I need to find a piece of metal. So I'm going to have to, you can't just put an exhaust pipe through there and be like, what's that smell of burning plastic every time I use it? No. So obviously I'm going to have to add that. These little flaps that have always been here will probably just get cut off, but I'm leaving them for the time being because I don't know, maybe everything will just fit in there so cool. Just be like, hey, that's really neat, but I doubt it. Tests have shown will not happen. So yeah, but that's where we are with this build. I'm gonna shove it in there, create the screws for that, but I clearly have some more parts to think about, which is gonna be that. I need like a metal ring or silicone rubber even, honestly. Maybe a big silicone rubber O-ring that can survive the heat and make it black. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go look those up. Because believe me, have you ever tried to melt silicone? Like real medical grade? I mean, you can't. I mean, I've taken heat guns to it and stuff. I mean, I can't melt it. And that's why they're using it. You know, you can bake on them now. You can get baked on them now, right? They're amazing, like those silicone sheets. In Colorado, we've had them a lot since legalization because people will use them for dabbing. And so they'll take like a super hot head and put it on there along with their cannabis. And so I've recently had to do some experiments with heat and silicone to see if I could get it to shrink because it absorbs oil. And the reason I did that, I don't think I have a video of it, is because there's a top to your brakes, like in your reservoir, right? It's a little rubber. But that little rubber, at least in these types of brakes that use, this is not DOT approved, whatever frickin' oil. No, this is just mineral oil, just like a mountain bike. Well, what I've noticed is silicone rubber absorbs it, like quite a lot. And so when you take this thing out, and it's been in this compressed area, it'll never go back in. So you've got to literally burn off the oil. And you're like, I'm gonna melt this. No, not with my strongest heat gun. It blows my mind every time. So that's why I'm like, yeah, let's find some high-grade silicone rubber, an O-ring, that'll work for the back. They typically come in black anyways. So that will actually make it look really good. And maybe I should order a second one for the oil hole. It's not going to be hot or anything, but hey, if I'm already ordering grommets, I might as well go nuts, right? All right, so let's think about that. So I need to get some silicone, medical grade silicone grommets of a couple different sizes, maybe like a whole kit, because I apparently need these a lot because I do stupid shit all the time. So let me see if I can just find that's what I like to do. I'm like, I don't need ones. Just give me like a big sample set of screws so that I don't have to worry about it ever again. Well, I need that in this case too. And believe it or not, I actually do have a huge set of rubber O-rings, but they are not this type. This is not, no, this is more of a grommet. And then we need to start thinking about airflow. So if I'm gonna cut holes or lines or something in the back here where this unit's gonna basically move some nice cool air around this heavily heated box, I need the air to be able to go in and out, or at least in. And this is the forward of the bike, so the air will have the advantage, right? You might as well just force it in, right, and supercharge this. Not that it'll make a difference. It won't. It's not like it has a supercharger. Although, hey, maybe plan B. But anyways, we'll throw that in there. We'll make some holes there, and then I got to get a carb and then put it all together and then test it out. I know right now, the only reason I'm not finishing this right now today is because it's literally gonna burn up right there, and it's so let me solve that problem. I really I don't need to have my impatience just lead to failure, and then we'll figure out the rest, and if we can even get a starter in there. So that's the other thing with the backhaul I was talking about before. I may just have to put a big hole in there for the just it's a prototype, just so I can literally put a drill in there. There's my electric start. Stupid, but this thing's so big. I mean, I'm not kidding when I have to say I'm probably going to have to design something, have it CNC'd to fit in here and on there so beautifully. And of course, I'm going to have to get a little chain drive. I mean, I've thought about a lot of options. Not easy. The concept easy, but fitting it in here and then getting it to actually spin this thing, and it's not like it was already chain driven to begin with. No, it had a pull start and this stupid thing on it, which attached to a thing and then a string and a bottle of Bing. We want to definitely be able to start this while we're riding. However, I'm probably going to have to sacrifice that objective initially. That's what you got to do sometimes. Prototype. Because it's just going to add too much time and difficulty to this project, it looks like. Let's just get this in there, prove the concept, prove the engine can run, prove that it can run on there. It doesn't have to be easy. I can take a drill and I can start it. Cool. Then we can worry about making it way prettier later. For now, though, the fact that all this stuff fits into little leather bags with a lot of plastic in them, that's amazing. I would not have planned on a 6-inch width being even remotely possible. Originally, I said it was going to be a minimum of 8. No question about it. But I just kept deconstructing this thing. It is minimized like you wouldn't believe. There's your gas tank, your air intake and filter, your engine. You want to see all the other stuff? Check this out. That's about 7 or 8, I think it's about 8 pounds. Nothing but plastic and shit I won't be using. Wow. And look at the size comparison. This is going to be stunning, eh? Here we go. Check that out. That's it. I mean, so you have this engine in these generators. This is producing 1,000 watts. Basically right freaking here, because that thing's spinning, and then it gets converted and they make some outlets and cool shit. But are you kidding me right now? They want to make these look big. This is the smallest form factor I could find on the entirety of the internet. Oh, I asked AI too. And Cynics is a new company, so they just came out with these. They're really trying to get kicked off. So I don't know about reliability, this and that. That's not really the point. I just needed the smallest form factor, and you can't really see what the form factor is of the actual engine. You just see the plastic and everything and the way they advertise it. This was the smallest. But I'm shocked at how much I was truly able to remove, or at least reposition. But no, I mean, 7, 8 pounds, and look at that. Ha! Tiny in comparison, tiny. So this is very possible. That makes me excited. All right, I'll check back in later. See you guys.